Why did they make this movie and why did I watch it? Home Sweet Home Alone is the latest film in the Home Alone franchise, I guess? I don't know. I've only seen the first two, the classics and Macaulay Culkin. I believe there was a number 3, but also recall not wanting to watch it because the kid in the trailer really turned me off. Really annoying and irritating, so I refused to watch that. Now Disney Plus has decided to make a new Home Alone movie with a new kid, and it's a total wreck. Don't watch this movie. In fact, about half an hour in, I wanted to turn it off, but I was like, hey, I've committed to this movie. I want to watch it. I want to see if it redeems itself in some capacity at least, and it does not. This is easily one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and it all starts with the script. I don't know what the writers of this movie were thinking, but they made some very, very odd and bad choices. First of all, in the classic Home Alone films from the 90s, you're rooting for this young kid who is fending for his house, his family, himself, his safety against these criminals who are trying to break in and take his shit. So, you had a reason to root for this little kid. This time around, for whatever reason, they decided to focus on the people who are breaking into the house. They are not necessarily criminals, they're just a normal married couple who are down on their luck. They need some money and they want to go after this doll that the little kid supposedly has stolen. It's really hard to root for either one of these parties because first of all, it's confusing because by the nature of the history of this film series, you think like you should be rooting for the kid, the young kid, but then the entire time the movie makes you think that this kid was actually the bad guy because he stole this precious doll from this married couple and they're just trying to get it back. So he's causing all this havoc and mayhem in his house and beating the shit out of this couple because of this stupid doll. It turns out that it was all a bit of a misunderstanding, but yet, before you find that out, it's like, am I supposed to be rooting for this kid? He's the one that started all this shit in the first place, so that was kind of confusing. And they spent a lot of time on this married couple explaining their marital problems, their money problems, and I just didn't really care. And it just created a weird dynamic watching the movie because am I supposed to be rooting for the bad guys or the married couple, people who are breaking in, or am I supposed to be rooting for the little kid? And I just didn't get it. And the whole beauty of the Home Alone first two films, in my opinion, was, of course, the stuff where he creates all these traps for the burglars are really fun, but it was more about the fun and the fascination and sensation of being truly home alone. When Macaulay Culkin was either home alone in his house or in New York in the sequel, he just had tons of fun with his time alone. He ate whatever he wanted, pizza, candy, ice cream. He watched bad movies, and he even went shopping. And that was the fun of it, to me anyway, for the Home Alone movies. That was the beauty of it and the heart of soul of it. And then making him realize how much he actually did miss his family as much as he didn't want to be with them at that particular time. And so he had a really great message. This film just blows all that shit out of the water. It doesn't have any message whatsoever. You have the mom still trying to get back to her child, but they didn't spend any time developing any kind of bond between them. So her hysteria to get back to her kid feels very false, disingenuous, and you don't really care at that point. And they spend maybe 1 minute of time on this little kid having the time of his life. It's just basically a montage. And then it goes back to the married couple and their issues, and then their whole breaking in. And this movie is just, it doesn't know what to do with itself. They made some very odd choices. There's a time in the middle of the film, about literally 10 minutes long, where it was just this married couple, first of all, trying to get over a wall and then breaking into the wrong house. And that was 10 minutes. And what did that 10 minutes do for this movie? It could have been easily taken out, wouldn't have affected anything. It was a waste of everyone's time. And this movie is just full of moments like that. Another odd choice is that they had a young kid, the Home Alone kid, dressing up like Al Pacino from Scarface, and he has a mountain of M&Ms, which is supposed to be a reference or callback to Scarface when Pacino had that mountain of cocaine, and he's burying his head in it. I'm who is this reference for. This movie is obviously made for children and they're not gonna know anything about Scarface, which was made like 40 years ago. It just made no sense whatsoever. So yeah, this movie is just all over the place. It doesn't know what to do with stuff. It has no point and it's not very funny. There was one time I just laughed out loud because, you know, sometimes somebody getting banged in the head with a hard object just fucking funny. I don't know, just the one time I laughed. But so, you know, I wanted to give this movie a 0 out of 10, but for the one time I laughed, I shall give Home Sweet Home Alone 1 out of 10. Don't waste your time with this movie. You'll be happy you didn't watch it. If you're even thinking about watching it, please think twice, and there's plenty of other films. In fact, go watch the original film instead. I watch the original Home Alone every single year, and I can't wait to watch it again to erase my brain from watching Home Sweet Home Alone. Thanks so much for watching my review. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, MC on Film, for more reviews in the future.